Joining us now is TalkTV's international editor, Isabel Oakeshott. Isabel, what's your take on what happened up in Rochdale? I mean, it seems to me extraordinary that we've got a guy who got elected because he doesn't like Jews and said, well, hello, this, this is a victory for Gaza. But Ben Habib told TalkTV this morning that this was a filthy by-election. Let's have a quick look at why he thinks that.
But our candidate, Simon Dunchuk, was, he had death threats made against him. We had to get extra protection for him. We weren't able to attend the count because of the physical danger to him and to his wife. So it was a really awful, filthy by-election. And the people who work at Reform UK, some of whom have fought 30-odd by-elections, told me that it's the worst environment in which they've ever campaigned, the worst environment.
Isabel, I mean, clearly you know the leader of Reform UK very well. What has been your reaction to the nature of that by-election, the validity of the result, allegations that there was intimidation, potentially even electoral corruption?
I am sorry to say that I am shocked by the whole way this by-election was conducted. It was really, frankly, grotesque at times, and Reform UK and perhaps even other candidates would be forgiven for regretting ever having had anything to do with it. Of course, Reform UK and other parties want to stand candidates in every by-election. But frankly, the behaviour, the conduct of some of those on the ground during this campaign was completely unacceptable and more reminiscent of what you might find not in this great democracy of ours, but in a failed state. I cannot believe what candidates were subjected to, the intimidation, the abuse, the racist slurs against white candidates was quite extraordinary. And I think everybody is frankly reeling from the whole experience today. And for George Galloway to stand up there and say, this is for Gaza, I find incredibly disturbing. And I think a lot of voters in this country will be deeply concerned that we now have a newly elected politician who has been quite open that his key platform is about what is going on in the Middle East, not what is going on in this country. And the bigger picture is what happens now at the next election. Does Mr Galloway field a number of acolytes with his same views and prejudices and priorities that are not in this country, but relate to geopolitics? Because if so, we may very well have a bunch of pretty extreme figures in the Houses of Parliament by Christmas.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, Isabel, that very awkward situation. I was saying this earlier, that, George Galloway, after his night of triumph, winning the constituency for Gaza, not for Rochdale then, apparently, he was sleeping, so you would normally go to his deputy. That's a guy called Chris Williamson, that even Jeremy Corbyn threw out of the Labour Party for being too anti-Semitic. So I said, well, we're not having him on. He's a Jew-hating racist. And frankly, so is George Galloway. We have come to a pretty pass, have we not, when a guy wins an election on a racist ticket. I didn't think I'd ever see this in this country, in modern Britain. It's really worrying, is it not?
It really is worrying. It would be bad enough if we could be relaxed and accept that this is just a one-off. But I have been saying for quite some time that the way politics is going in this country, we are going to see sectarian politics well and truly showcased at the next general election. I think there will be a number of candidates who are either independents or perhaps for Mr Galloway's party, who stand on platforms that have nothing to do primarily with the key things people in this country are concerned about, be that the economy, the state of the NHS, or immigration. I think we're in a really dark and frightening place. And, people would be astonished by the kind of behaviours, the intimidation, the bullying, the fact that certain candidates and their teams had to be relocated for their own safety, that security was required for candidates. This isn't Britain. And if it is, it's not the kind of Britain I think most of us want.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Isabel, thank you ever so much.